Non-conference is over and Texas is 3-0, but we can't be satisfied heading into the real meat of the schedule. Why is the Texas offense struggling with consistency? Why is the Texas defense dominant? And what do our future Big 12 opponents have in store for us? Eric Nalin, owner of Inside Texas, is on to detail the negatives and positives of this Texas squad before we head into a crucial final season in the league. Inside Texas is the #1 place to stay in tune with your favorite team. Subscribe to InsideTexas.com today, link in the description. So let's take a realistic look at where the Longhorns stand as we prepare for a contentious set of games. Without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back, Eric. Let's get down to it. Yes, we are 3-0, but this offense has a major flaw currently. Texas is the last-ranked offense in the nation in success rate. And what that means is our offense is incredibly inconsistent. It comes down to a lack of good play calling on early downs, paired with the quarterback lacking true command game in and game out. Yes, we can get the explosive plays to save us, Worthy on the screen, Brooks on the big run versus Wyoming, but we're just out-athleting guys, and eventually that explosive play won't come. So why in year 3 is the offense still struggling to be consistent without the crutch of superior athletes and the occasional big play?
Yeah, offensive consistency is on everybody's mind, and it's one of the harder things that we've tried to understand in all my years of covering Texas football. It's because it requires a whole lot of insight that only a few people have, and one of them being Steve Sarkisian. While he's very honest and open with the public, there's some things that he's going to hold back. So we don't know how much he's game planning for Rice. We don't know how much he's game planning for Wyoming. We can suspect, obviously, that they were looking ahead to Alabama. I mean, we heard that to some degree, but we don't know exactly how much. Obviously, he didn't come out running a hot script that was designed to get Quinn throwing the ball well, or, like clearly versus Alabama. Quinn was on fire from the outset, just like he was during the previous Alabama game. Wyoming came out again looking like more of the attention that he had versus Rice. So the inconsistency starts with me from the script and how much Sark is pre-gaming. He's also alluded to some things about, I know that there's some metrics out there about Texas struggling on early downs. I think Sark has mentioned that he hasn't stuck with the run quite as much as he'd like, and they're behind the sticks. I do think he gets a little antsy once he gets a drive going, and he wants to throw it over the top, and that's why we see Texas does do well in the explosive plays, but probably not as much as they do if they were doing better on early downs. You draw the defense in. They've had spotty interior line play at times. I think they're improving. I think DJ Campbell has showed a lot of improvement since the Rice game. Still too many penalties there. Hayden Connor's had a couple again. The one glaring thing that I think we all noticed is there's been too many drops. A couple of them are touchdowns. They've gotten off the field where it would have been touchdowns. They've lost possessions where they would have extended drives. And so it's kind of all melting together. I do think it all starts with the relationship between Steve Sarkisian and Quinn Ewers and how well Quinn comes out of the gates. When Quinn comes out playing well to start, he carries it through the game. When he comes out slow, it's going to be a slog. And I think that's a function of Sark getting him comfortable early.
I'm just expecting to see more from him, or else we aren't going to be able to maximize and get to where we want to go. On the flip side, I do want to shout out the defense for being the polar opposite of the offense, being the first-ranked team in the nation for defensive success rate. Opposing teams are struggling to have any consistency versus us. What's the outlook on PK in year 3, and what could be the best defense we've seen in quite a while?
Yeah, the name of the game with defense is continuity. We've got all 3 levels playing together. We've also got an infusion of talent that's cleaning up some points of concern that we had entering the season, namely edge and pass rush, more than we would have thought. Anthony Hill we knew was going to be a weapon, but I think Ethan Burke has done better. Mainly, maybe he's a year ahead from what we expected from him. Baron Sorrell had his best game this past week. He's played well, but he's come off on a lot of third downs. I think he made a play to the coaches to understand that he could probably be out there on third downs too. To me, the strength is the defensive line, the interior defensive line specifically, the waves that they can play those guys. Depth is a huge advantage going up against they're big guys, but they're only playing 40 snaps. But they're going up against other big guys that are playing 60 or 70 snaps. So that's a huge advantage. And not only that, not only do they have the depth, but these guys are more talented than the counterparts on the offensive line. They have had a huge advantage against Wyoming. That's why they're having these 3-step drop quick outs, because they knew that the offensive line wasn't going to hold up. That's where the defense all starts. And then you've got a lot of experience in the secondary. Guys might make a mistake one play, but they make up for the next. We saw that with Anthony Hill against Alabama, Anthony Hill versus Wyoming, Jaron Thompson versus Alabama, Jaron Thompson versus Wyoming. So even when they make a mistake, they come right back at it. They keep attacking. playing really sound assignment sound football, and they're going to improve. That's the exciting thing. I feel really good about the floor that they set for the team. But there's room for them to improve, specifically zone coverage. I think they've been a little soft here and there, but they're going to keep making plays on the ball. Just a really good, experienced team that understands the schemes quite well and is playing well together. And the good news is they're going to keep improving.
That defense is going to have to keep us in games when the offense gets spotty. And then we're going to hit the rest of the conference in a bit. But first, what's the team vibe like after going 3-0 and getting ready to face Baylor?
Well, the team is certainly. I mean, they're happy to be 3-0. I think the coaches are happy to be 3-0 and also have so much teachable stuff on tape to fix. So it's good that we've seen them play well at times, but it's also exciting to think about how good they can be if they start cleaning things up. I think there is a lot of excitement about the conference opener. It's almost like the opener all over again for the first game of the season. You feel like you get a brand new slate, things start from scratch. Everybody's really 0-0 because the first three games don't really matter as far as winning the Big 12 championship. There's always that level of excitement of playing the conference teams that you've been playing for 120 years. With Baylor, that goes back a long ways. Texas is dominated for the most part, but not necessarily in the last 15 years or so. There's still a bit of an institutional rivalry between the two schools. So everybody that I've talked to is definitely excited about it. They got a lot to prove. They know that they've got to play better to if they want to have a clean sheet in the conference. To a man that I've talked to, they feel confident that they're going to keep improving. That's the name of the game. They have to improve at a minimum at the same rate as everybody else, because teams that have had some struggles are going to get better. So the name of the game is for Texas to keep winning, but also improve while they're doing it and build momentum into the fall.
Now, looking at the full conference slate, I think fans can get a false sense of confidence due to so many teams stumbling in the first 3 weeks, but I think there's missing context. Texas State came out with a brand new offense Baylor wasn't ready for, and their QB goes down. Texas Tech is up 17-0 on Wyoming, and then something psychological happened. They played a good Oregon team down to the wire, so I think Tech is better than their record. TCU gets beat by Colorado, and it's the end of the world, and now Colorado is 3-0. K-State loses, but it's on a 61-yard field goal, which has a very, very low chance of occurring. So the conference is down, but I would be weary of thinking that means Texas is going to breeze right through. But what's your outlook on all the future matchups?
I would agree that the conference is down, and I would agree that Texas is the favorite to win the conference at this point. But it's a conference slate filled with trap games. It's filled with a bunch of coaches that have familiarity with Texas. They've schemed up Texas well. There are games that Texas can lose by being outcoached schematically. Texas is going to have the talent advantage in every game, but the ball bounces funny. You could have turnovers. Texas has been fairly fortunate with injuries so far, as opposed to K-State, who just got hurt pretty bad on Saturday. But you never know when your fates are going to change. And I think a lot of Oklahoma looks improved over last year. I still think I like Texas quite a bit in that game. I just like the coaching in the conference. These like I said, teams are going to get better. Chris Kleiman's going to get that offense rolling more consistently for K-State and get the defense playing better. I think TCU has room for improvement. Texas Tech is going to be a tough one that Friday night. Who knows, or that Friday after Thanksgiving? Who knows what they're playing for? So there's going to be another number of teams that are going to present challenges, but the number one challenge for Texas is going to be themselves. They have to keep improving. I think everybody's been mentioning it. It's a common statement now. They have to play to a standard. They do have to. They can't play to the competition. They have to play to the best of their ability. So when you look at them ranked number 3 right now, I don't see a number 3 ranked team in a normal year. They're not playing to that level. So if they're looking at that and thinking they're the number 3 team in the country, I've got bad news for them, because that's not the typical level of a number 3 team. They've got to maximize and play to the best of their ability. And then if they do that, then everything else will fall into place. Then they'll be in the playoffs. They're going to, they've got a chance to run the conference. The Alabama win gave them a little leeway as far as making the playoffs. That was huge that way. But it's all about them. How good do they want to be? How much can the coaches get out of them? Can they make them more consistent on offense? Can they keep elevating them on defense while continuing to minimize mistakes? If they do that, everything's going to work out. It won't really matter who they're playing week to week. But if they keep living game to game, it's going to bite them at some point. So lack of consistency is going to get them. It's just a matter of which team. I picked one loss heading into the conference. I didn't really know who it would be. It was just a probabilistic thing. I picked TCU, but I still think that there's a probabilistic loss on the schedule. I just don't know who it would be.
Yeah, I agree. The top line contour numbers for Texas look great, but when you peek under the hood with some advanced metrics, we're not as solid as it would appear. All right, brother, thank you for the insight. Please let the fans know the best place to get multiple Longhorn updates daily. I know you've got the $1 for 1 month promo going on right now as well, so fans will want to take advantage of that.
Yeah, come find us at InsideTexas.com. We are the fastest growing site in the market, one of the fastest growing sites in the entire country, regardless of team. There's a reason for that. We have a lot of quality content, 300 articles a month, lots of insight. It's X's and O's, it's recruiting, it's inside information. Pretty much anything that piques your interest, we cover it in breadth. So give us a chance at InsideTexas.com.
And that's a wrap on Eric Nahlin. Head over to Inside Texas and sign up today. Thanks for hanging out. Watch some more of my videos here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want to support quality Texas content. As always, hook on.